Everyone is screaming that SaaS is completely dead and artificial intelligence wrappers are only the future. But did you know that training these massive new AI models takes 10,000 times more data just to produce a microscopic improvement in reasoning? Meanwhile, over 50% of top-tier models are currently flat-out failing new basic logic tests. So we're hitting a massive wall where training costs are absolutely skyrocketing, but the cost to actually build and run smaller purposeful models is plummeting. So are we blindly chasing a trillion-dollar hype train while ignoring the actual software business making real money right now? So you can see some of these hardwares behind me, and we're going to talk about this today because before we so we're going to jump in today and talk about why SaaS is not dead and why the real businesses are actually going to be using AI to be making more money. Let's jump into it today. Welcome to Startup Pack. I'm Spencer, and here at Startup Pack, we love to build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, look, I mentioned at the start, the panic over the death of SaaS is completely backwards. We're going to break down exactly why vertical, domain-driven software is actually entering a massive growth phase and why the AI everything bubble is masking the reality. Now, I hear all you AI lovers out there being like, oh, you're just coping, you guys are going to be gone here soon. And that's the overarching problem here, right? There's a lot of people who want to get rid of software developers because they're expensive people they don't know how to manage and how to take care of. So that's the reality of the matter. So they want those gone. They don't want to pay for the expensive software and tools that developers require. They don't understand the process. So they love this concept of like a human can speak something and it will do software for me. And they don't even know what do software means, right? And that's why like those who are in the industry are just rolling our eyes and being like, okay, this is another run here. But those that actually know actually understands this. So the rumor of software as a service apocalypse has been massively overstated by panic-driven investors. And we're going to talk about that today. So as always, the best compliment you can give me is leave a comment down below because I read them all. It's the best compliment. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe and to share. So let's jump into this article here because I really, really, really like this article, right? So I subscribe to A16Z because if you like, they're one of the largest investors out there. And if you really want to like kind of know what's going on, they have a lot of stuff going on here. So this article, the author says the defense of vertical software, the last mile is the entire problem. So I'm going to read a little bit of this here because it's a really great article. He says, right now, everyone in the industry is asking some version of the same question. In a world where Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, Google, I think, was 185 billion committed this year. Anthropic's going to be probably about 100 billion worth of spend. Nobody really knows what OpenAI is doing, but you know we know what they talk about. But they're pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into building the most powerful general purpose AI systems in the world. So keep that in mind because it's general purpose. These are not specific; they're general, right? Why does vertical software need to exist? How does a company like Hebbia, in this case, but you can kind of substitute anybody here, earn a right to win? Why don't the foundation models just eat everything? So I've been reading all the discourse over the last few weeks, the arguments about moats being dead, the rebuttals about counter rebuttals. I've heard the pitch that LLMs destroy learning interfaces, vaporize business logic, and commoditize data. And in the end, leave vertical software companies with nowhere to hide. And I agree with more of it than you'd expect. But I think the problem with all of this is that it misses the point. At the most basic level, enterprise software is just code. It's accessible interface, The value of enterprise software comes from understanding the process and the organization well enough to make the software do exactly the right thing. At Hebbia, we call it process engineering. And I think the process engineering and the network effect that arises from it will continue to be the foundational advantage of vertical software. The last mile is the entire problem. This is where he's right. Take finance, the industry that Hebbia focuses on. From 50,000 feet, every firm looks identical. They do the due diligence. They all come up with opinions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And no one, absolutely no one will buy what you're selling, right? But then you need to zoom in, not to the firm level, but beyond that, to the team level, to the desk level, to the MD level. The world has a surprising amount of details, right? I always tell my developers all the time, the devil's in the details, right? You may think you understand something, and that's the biggest thing. As a developer who's out there solving real world problems every single day, why do you think FDE, forward deployed engineer, is a new title that's really happening? Is because this is the thing, is it's about solving a business problem. That is what software does. So the private credit team at one firm used a completely different set of compliance flags than a private equity team in the same firm, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is the real meaning of the last mile. Last mile doesn't mean the final configuration step before a product goes live, but a recognition that what you're deploying isn't just software, but an embodiment of a specific team, of a specific people, how they do their job, right? That's the whole point. Software is taking business rules and deploying them into an organization. And so what do we call perfect requirements? We call them, as developers, we call it code. You can try to refine and refine and refine, but you code, something works, and somebody says, yeah, that's how it works, right? Like that is the final definition. So at the end of the day, words actually don't define the process. The process can be embodied in the software. So lines of code are the least interesting part of software. And I'm going to talk about that in another article here. Software that works means somebody sat down and designed a workflow. The logical workflow encapsulated the way things are done. Software is a stored process. It's not a neural tool. It's an opinion. It's an opinion for how a group of people should collaborate. And code and durable software is a social contract. This guy gets it, right? Like he's totally getting it. And this is why code has always been the cheap part. Building the code hasn't been the hard part. Encapsulating that process, getting that process into that social contract of how we're going to do something is the part that works. So we're working for one of our largest clients right now, and we're building in, and everything about the tool is about encapsulating process. We have not replaced a single human yet, but we've empowered the humans to be able to go focus on the good part of their job instead of doing the minutia that we can automate. That's the difference here. That's what he's talking about. That's this last mile that he's talking about. And that's the reason why one of the things we're also seeing, and this is another article from another A16Z, charts of the week, vertical SaaS, rawr, right? LLM, retention, and usage, open source rising, second order effects, right? So vertical SaaS, first, just a little callback to the topic du jour, vertical SaaS. Savoca having made the case that vertical SaaS, so this is linking back to that other article we just read, it turns out he may be onto something because of course, right? According, I wasn't quite ready to show you the graph yet. According to some pretty recent data, the sales cycle for publicly traded vertical SaaS is looking pretty good, okay? So we can see here, we're starting to see around the bottom, and then we see the curve up. We're in the bottom of the curve up, right? Quota automated for vertical SaaS takeoff and vertical SaaS getting warmer, right? So we're starting to see leads come in. Both quota attainment and inbound lead sentiment improved dramatically for vertical software, which now leads every other category of its enterprise. If vertical software is dead, no one told the sales rep. No one told the sales reps. For now, at least, it appears as though specialized knowledge of industry workflows still matter. This is why software as a service, SaaS platforms will not be dead. We're about to see an explosion of them because we can write them faster. That's the best part. And everyone's like, well, but eventually then the devs will go away. No, they'll want to write more. Now what we're getting is, cool, you built the SaaS platform for us. That's awesome. Now how do we integrate AI? Now how do we get that AI to do this? How do we get it? Like, they want more. I've never had a contract that once it hit production, they were like, cool, thanks, see you later. No, they're all ready for more. Oh, that was awesome. Now we want to do this and this and this. Every one of my contracts have expanded over the last 2 years. Software is still continuing to grow. Now, do we use AI tools? Hands down, yeah, we do. We build AI for people, right? You can see the machines back here behind me. These are AI workstations that we're building for people that will do back-end processing of AI that does data processing behind the scenes between the old services, right? I'm not a big fan of like just chatbots, right? Let's get to where we do some actual data processing and do the lift. Let's talk about this one. The SaaS, I can't say that word, SaaSpocalypse is a credit event, not a tech story. AI is destroying many SaaS business models, and the pain is acute in the credit markets. The enterprise software sell-off everyone's calling the SaaSpocalypse, man, I can't say that word, has destroyed somewhere between $800 billion and $2 trillion in market cap from the software sector to late January. Most of the coverage frames this as a technology disruption story. AI agents are coming for the SaaS stack, right? Oh no, the sky is falling. And that's true as far as it goes. But the more interesting and more dangerous story is about financial plumbing. The SaaSpocalypse is a stress telling a $500 billion debt structure that private equity built on top of SaaS models during the leverage decade in financial history. So what this has is, let me put this into human speak. There's $500 billion of debt structure around SaaS companies, right? This isn't saying SaaS isn't going to be applicable. They're just getting nervous because they've bet on these SaaS platforms. And now there's this rumor, this thought out there, oh my gosh, AI can replace software, right? And that's kind of just the thing. AI does software, right? They don't even know what that means. Like AI does software. And so because of that, if I was sitting on $500 billion of debt, I'd be pretty nervous too. See, here at Starter Pack, we've grown based on revenue, and we continue to grow and to bootstrap. I'm a big fan of bootstrap companies. We always look at different investing and leverage opportunities, but at the end of the day, we've grown on revenue. But so if I'm sitting on $500 billion of debt and suddenly there's even a rumor of the fact that like software could go away, yeah, you're going to get pretty nervous, right? Like that has to be understood. So let's talk about this, the SaaS reset. Why SaaS is changing, not going away. The cost of creating software is going down to zero. Now that's kind of the thought here, right? Like that's in quotes, right? He's not necessarily saying. He says quite a few people have made this hyperbolic statement like this on X lately, and it stood out in particular when the CEO of Klarna said it. CEO of Klarna said SaaS is dead. The cost of creating software is going down to zero, and that means everyone will be able to generate software any point and any time. And the real threat to SaaS will show up next when AI makes data migration one click and no more hostage data models, no more painful switching to context. So these kind of broad statements are what are really hurting the market, right? And that's what the author is saying here, right? He's saying if you're building, buying, or managing software products right now, there's some major implications for this trend. But I have good news for you. This isn't a post about whether AI is overhyped nor doomsday or pro. Instead, I'm mapping out where I believe the economics of SaaS are actually heading over the next 5 years, what it means for the companies being built, the teams building them, and what you should do about starting today. So I'm just going to kind of zoom to the bottom. It's a pretty good article. He goes through a lot of different things, talks about building moats, talks about, what's the new SaaS company looks like. And again, like I said here, SaaS is changing. We are building AI into SaaS. That means you're either going to be paying for a lot of inference costs. It means you've got to host some of your own servers. It means like a lot of different things. So SaaS models are changing very much so. And so I'm not, so where this is headed. My predictions are over a 5-year horizon, not the next 5 months. Some of this is already happening, some 18 months away. Here's what I'm watching. Industries with low switching costs, internal teams capable of building new tools with AI and loud pricing complaints will be hit first. And I agree with that. I think there's some noise out there that's going to get cut out. There's some fat that's going to get trimmed. Meanwhile, regulated industries, lower tech markets, compliance-heavy environments, and tools with genuine network effects will hold out longer. Yet, even if you're one of those safer industries, it's not a reason to wait. It's a reason to take advantage of the time while you have it and stay ahead of these changes. I agree with him. This is a time to dive in. If you're building software, if you're employing a software development team, you should be working to make sure your employees are working efficiently. Make sure they're using the latest tools. Make sure they're making with AI, security is going to become non-negotiable because now there's going to be a lot of AI tools out there to try to find the vulnerabilities, right? Which means the bad guys are going to have it too, right? So it means they're going to be able to poke holes at you faster. So at the end of the day, knowing how to write code is becoming less important, but deeply understanding software engineering and deeply understanding a specific industry become the two pieces, right? Because the code generation will happen with AI. It's doing pretty good. We do a lot of it, but the humans still need to understand it, and they always will. Remember, people told COBOL developers and assembly developers when C++ came out, oh, you guys are going to be gone. We can write code so easy and so fast now. Like COBOL developers are still being employed, right? The most successful founders I see today are the veterans who decide to build software and work to continue to increase, right? Vertical software wins because it speaks the exact language of the customer and immediately solves their most painful problems. Combining this deep domain expertise focused with a good set of software development practices, which now can be accelerated with AI, become a great blueprint to build out some amazing companies. So software is not dead. It's just getting highly specialized. And I'm incredibly excited to see what we're going to build next because we're continuing to iterate. And I love building on top of AI. It's a great time to be a software developer. So curious to hear what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Love to have a great conversation, so make sure you leave a comment down below. Here's some great information about our services, and check out starterpack.com.
Hi, I'm Spencer, a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and 25 years in software development, I've transformed technology teams and products for businesses just like yours. As your fractional CTO, you get the strategic guidance of a seasoned technology executive without the full-time commitment. Perfect for companies ready to leverage cutting-edge technology without expanding headcount. My team at Startup Hack has already built advanced AI agents for small and medium businesses, automating complex workflows and delivering advanced ROI to human workflows. We specialize in creating custom software that connects your systems into a single coherent technology ecosystem. Our development approach focuses on tangible business outcomes. For one client, we developed AI-powered workflows that cut days off of human processes. For another company, by connecting multiple systems, we reduced processing time to increase their ROI by over 75%. We don't just write code, we architect solutions that scale. Whether you need cloud system architecture, data integration between legacy systems, or custom AI agents that automate your unique business processes, my team delivers results that exceed your expectations. Having led technology for a lot of companies and launched 7 successful brands of my own, I bring battle-tested expertise to your business challenges. Our specialty is turning technological complexity into business advantage. So if you're ready to harness the power of AI and custom software to drive your business forward, let's connect. Together, we'll build technology that doesn't just solve today's problems, it positions you for tomorrow's opportunities. Technology leadership, decades of experience, AI powered. Reach out today and we can help you. Check out startuphack.com